Hello everybody, just checking in and seeing that we are all ready for tonight's lessons. So we're going to start at exactly 8 o'clock. I am going to have to cut it early tonight because I do have to go back to work tonight. So right now I am just going to this is the numerology course continuing. I am going to recap everything tonight, so it's a great night to have your pencil and paper ready. So letting some people log in. I'm just streaming right now, waiting for some people to log in. I'm getting everything set up. Right. So if you're signing in a little early, take this time to go use the restroom and get some pencil and paper because last week was Thanksgiving week, so I went over some stuff and we didn't have a lot of people on because of it being the night before Thanksgiving. So I am going to recap really well, but you will need pencil and paper. Get you a few sheets of clean paper. So we're going to go over some numerology tonight, and I will help some people try to understand the different parts of the chart, and we'll look at some worksheets. Let me get into TikTok. Get TikTok ready to go. Oh, let me turn the volume down on there. Okay, so I'm just waiting to go live on TikTok, and I need my pen. Where did it go? My desk is kind of full of stuff to share with you, but I think I've got everything. And we moved the camera a little bit today, so it should be easier for you to see. So great. Say hello if you logged in. We're going to go live at 8 o'clock. We have 6 minutes to go. I'm letting some people log in. We will be doing numerology tonight, so get some paper and pencil. I'm going to recap the last couple of weeks. I am going to focus on some new stuff, but I'm going to recap the last couple of weeks and get into some new things about numerology. So you'll have the basics so that if you come to a class, you'll be great. Hey, Jamie, get everybody, share it, girl. Get it out there. We're going to get some paper and pencil. We're going to go live in 5 minutes. I'm just trying to get people into the room because I'm really going to go over a lot of the numerology stuff tonight. I'm going to recap because I know a lot of people were cooking last week while we were talking. So I'm going to recap. And then we're going to get into some new stuff. We're going to recap life path, anti-number, and your name. Hey, how you doing, Darla? So we're going to be doing tonight, we're going to be going over some numerology. I'm going to start at 8 o'clock. We have been doing it for 3 weeks, but last week was a holiday. That's fine. You can clean away, but if you wanted to learn some of the numerology, get some paper and pencil because I am going to be going back over and reviewing life path, anti-number, and the numbers in your name, and then we're going to go a little further. But I'm going to recap the last few just because people have missed because of it being Thanksgiving holiday last week. A lot of people were trying to cook and listen and write at the same time. So I'm going to recap everything and bring us up to a point that I'm going to give some more new information about completing the chart. And then go over some meanings of the different terms on the chart and what does it mean and how to create it. So we will do some more numerology stuff, which is always fun. Cheers. So we have 3 more minutes. So clean, get ready. Well, this is free. I'm going to be doing this basic numerology will help you when you come to class, because we'll spend more time interpreting charts rather than learning how to fill them out. So, yes, you can. Yes, you can definitely, and these classes that I'm doing right now online are also going to be on my YouTube page, so you can go back and refer to them. And I have a tarot class that's free there, and you're going to have a basic numerology class. It doesn't include the interpretations, but it will help you at least get the chart drawn out, so you will understand how to do a chart. And that'll help me cut down on the length of the class, because that's the hardest piece, is teaching people how to build a chart. So, because you got to do it by hand, so it'll be a lot of fun. They give you something to make. I find they make great gifts for people who have brand new babies. You can do the newborn's birth, numerology all the way to as high as you want. So these are just like 21 or 25 when somebody's born, and give them that too as a gift. I create a little book called, let's see if I got a book here. No, it says, no, I have a book. I make a sheet that says Numbers for Life, and has the person's name and the baby's name and birth date, and then we give that to them as a gift. It's really a cool gift. And we get 1 minute in. I'm going to start TikTok, and then I'm going to get rolling. So we got 6 people. Say hello. We're going to be doing numerology. Get you some paper and pencil, because I'm going to review what I've gone over the last couple of weeks and bring us all up to date and give some new information. So pencil and paper is great. If you have it, it's 7:59. I'm going to log into TikTok live, go live. Okay, 3, 2. Okay, hey TikTok, we're getting ready to go live on my podcast in just a moment. Get some paper and pencil if you're joining me. We're going to be doing numerology. I'm going to be catching everybody up. Let me get that light out of your eyes. There, that might be better. So, trying to get it where you guys can see pretty good. Hey Stacy, get some paper and pencil if you want to learn numerology. So anyway, we're going to be going live in just a moment, so just less than a minute. So if y'all want to follow me on TikTok, that's great. Just get pencil and paper, because we're going to be doing some really good numerology. I'm teaching you how to build a chart in numerology. Okay, come on now. At 8 o'clock, we will get, here we are. Hello, my name is Sid Patrick. Welcome to Touching Eternity, the podcast. I am your host tonight. Tonight, we're going to be doing some numerology, and we're going to be reviewing what we have recovered over the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to bring you up to a point, and then we're going to add some new stuff tonight so that you can, learn some numerology. I'm going to show you and do the chart and all. So let me go to my full scene. So anyway, this is Pythagorean numerology. Over the last couple of weeks, we learned how to do a life path. We learned how to do anti-number, and we learned how to do the numbers in our name and what they mean. And so just to kind of review and bring you up to par, I am going to show you that and go over it again with everybody for the new people that have joined us. Now, if you did miss this class over the last couple weeks, you can find it on my YouTube. Just look up Touching Eternity and it'll be there, all the saved things. And it's also on TikTok now. The first couple of weeks, Magni has broken them down so that they're on TikTok as well. So if you're on TikTok, you can go back and look at some of those videos. He shortened them and put them in intervals so that you could also learn numerology from there as well. There is no fee for this, but I'm preparing people, if you do come take my class, how we can start spending more time like looking at charts and reading them, and that's actually fun. And that's when I teach the class, when we have to do all the like learning how to build the chart, that takes up the majority of time, so we spend less time in evaluating charts. And so I want to get more of this time when I teach numerology this time. I want to get more into the evaluation of the charts. So hi Zeta, hi Lynn, hi Stacy, hi everybody. We're going to get started because I have to end at a decent time because I have to go back to work tonight. So as soon as the podcast is over, I'm heading back to work. Anyway, let's move to the table view. So let's look. So this is a numerology. This is a chart, and every one of those boxes, except for some down here, will have numbers in them or letters. And this is what we call a worksheet. And if I do a fair or if I do an event of some kind, I'll usually do this because this is easy to do. It's the worksheet. So we go over how we got these numbers. So remember, your life path is your month, day, and year. And you bring the month down, the day down, bring it down to one number. 7 is down, 2 plus 5 is 7. Then 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 1 is 17, which is an 8. You add them across, it's 22/4. You do not break 11s. When you have an 11, you don't break it. You count it as 11. If you have a 22, you count it as 22, but it's like 22/4. 33 is a 33/6. I'm not going to get into the 44/8s right now because those are rare, but there is a thing called a 44/8. Once you get your number, and as you see, as I did my own birthday, I am a 22/4. To get my ante number, I take 9, subtract my life path, equals my ante number. So the one cycle, which is 9, that's how I want you to think of it. Numerology is done in a cycle of 9. That helps you start understanding things. It works in a cycle of 9. So one cycle is 9 minus your life path equals your ante number. Now, the only time that changes is if you are a 9. If you are a 9, if you do your life path minus a cycle and it's 9 minus 9, you cannot have a 0. So then you move to the day. So let's say I was a 9. I would then say 9 minus 7 because 7 is the day, and that would be 2. And if that is a 9 too, then you are not a 0. You're just a 9. And that's a whole, no, we get into interpretations. That says a whole lot about you. So that is how you do your life path. And I'm going to show this to TikTok because they can't see. So I'm going to pull it up right now and show TikTok. So folks, so this side is where we're at. So life path number at the top, you write out your birth date. I'm 7, I brought the 7 down. 25, 2 plus 5 is 7, I brought it down. 1961 equals 17, so that's an 8. And when I add them across, I'm 22/4. To get my ante number, I took 9, because that's one cycle, minus 4, which is my base number, equals 5. So 5 is my ante number. Okay, so and that's how you figure out those two things. What is your life path? What is your ante? What does all that mean? We're going to talk about that in interpretation. First, we got to learn how to build the chart. So then you write out your name. Your name, if you look at my sheet, it's my name, Sydney Lewis Patrick. So with that, I have a space between each one. You take each letter has a number associated with it. The easiest way to remember that is if you remember A, J, and S are all 1s. So when you count, and I'm going to do this so everybody can see, I'm trying to make sure that TikTok and you guys can see at home. So A, B, so A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, and so forth. It's an interval of 9. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Because that's 9, it stops at 9. J is a 1. So you can count with your fingers. You can pull up on Google. They'll give you a little chart where all the letters are. Okay, so there's that. Now, if you're born in another country, like my spouse is, there's like he has 4 extra vowels in his name. There's 4 extra vowels in their alphabet. Those all have specific numbers. So you would have to Google that too if you have somebody with a foreign name that has a vowel or a letter that we don't have in the English language. So that's just giving you some information. When you write that out, you notice that my name, I'll put it here for you guys, my name is in the center box. You see this 3 boxes? My name goes in the center box because the vowels go in the top box and the consonants of your name go in the bottom box. So we learned last week how to write our name out and put the consonants under the number for the consonant under the consonant. So like I have S is 1, so the first number in the bottom is 1 for me. I is 9. 9 goes on top. It goes above. Vowels go above. Consonants go below. If you don't have the little boxes, you can just write your name out. And when you figure out what letter number it is, you put vowels on the top and consonants on the bottom. And this will help you see what value your name has. Now, just like there was an exception with the anti-number, like if you were 9, and it was -1, so you can't be a 0, so you went to that day. There's also an exception in your name. If you have a Y in your name, okay, now listen to this, and you may want to write this down. I'll say it slow. A Y can be a vowel or a consonant. You look at the letter before it. If it is a vowel, then it's a consonant. If it is a consonant, it's a vowel. And so that tells you whether the 7 goes, because Y is 7, whether 7 goes on the top or 7 goes in the bottom. As in my name, Sydney, the Y is followed by an E, so my 7 is a consonant, so the 7 goes to the bottom. If your name starts with a Y, it's always, I gotta remember how that goes. If your name's like the name Yvonne is YB, then you go by the second letter, like the letter behind it. And then if it's a consonant, it's a vowel. If it's a vowel, it's a consonant. It's a consonant. So like if the name Yvonne, the Y would be a vowel. But if your name was for some reason, let's say Yellow, because that's the name I get with a Y in a vowel, Yellow or Yo-Yo, the Y would be a consonant versus a vowel. So that is a little bit of how you do your name. Let's see. My fingers are burning. I'm writing so fast. I'm sorry. So again, I'll recap slowly. Life path number, you write out your birthday numerically and you bring down the month to one number, the day to one number, the year to one number. And you add it across and you get a number. You do not break. Like if you're born in November, it's an 11, then you bring down to the bottom 11/2. You keep the 11. When you add it across, you add 11. Say you're born 11/11. 11 is the month, so that's an 11/2. 11 is the day, that's an 11/2. When you're adding across, that's a 22, not a 4. That's a 22. Okay, and then if you're another 11, so you're born 11/11/2011, then you were 33/6. Because it's an 11 and 11 is 22, and 22 and 11 is 33. And you don't break those numbers. Now, when you go to get meanings, there's a double meaning in it. When we go into interpretation, we'll talk about that. Hey, Tessie. So that, just trying to get y'all to understand, we're just trying to learn how to write the chart. And then what you will do is you add your vowels across and bring it to one number, and you put it in the circle. You add your consonants across and bring it down to one number, and you bring it in the in the square. Then you add the circle and square to get the triangle. And I'm going to show this to my people on TikTok. So your vowels go into the circle. The one number you get after you add them all up and bring it to one number. The consonants go in the square. And then you add the square and the circle together to get your triangle down to one number. So as you see, mine is 6 and 8 is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. So I put 5 in the triangle. All right. That's what we've covered over the last 3 weeks, is understanding those. And I've gone over some of the meanings of some of the numbers. We're using Pythagorean. This is all Pythagorean numerology. That's why it's in a cycle of 9. There's, I believe it's Chaldean or Kabbalah is an 8. They're in an 8 thing. I use Pythagorean. So it's a 9. What I like about these worksheets is these are great to take to fairs, or if you want to just go to a party and read people, you can pop these numbers out really quick and give a really good reading just by knowing these few numbers. like, because they all mean things, and let's talk about some of the meanings. So life path is just your general life path, is your overview of how you are in life. Your anti-number are things you want to avoid, or like you never want to buy a house that totals that number, or live in a house that totals your anti-number. Though people do all the time. You know, my spouse, our house is an anti-number for my spouse. But it doesn't mean that's necessarily bad, but it just tells you to be cautious, stay on top of things. You know, you want to make sure things are good. You don't want to buy a car that totals that, because then a Yankee number, because that could be a car that's going to be a lemon for you or give you a lot of trouble. I kind of think my last car was like that, because I just brought it back. It wasn't even 2 years old. I brought it back and got another one. It was such bad luck. Someone got me another one. But anyway, these are really great for fairs because there's a lot you can tell just by reading these numbers. Now, what does the circle mean? When you do your vowels, that is your heart's desire. That is what you love. It also tells you a lot about who you may choose as a mate or a partner in life, is what's in the circle. What's in the square, the number in the square, tells you how people see you. How people see you. And the number in the triangle is what you become after age 55. And so, again, all the numbers mean different things. There's both positive and negative for numbers. So now I'm going to move to the next sheet, and we're going to look at this thing down here. There's this little line that goes across the bottom, and it says planes of expression. Planes of expression tell you what your karmas are in life. And I'm going to show that to you on TikTok. I wish TikTok keeps kicking me out, guys, so I'm sorry, but we're going to probably post some of this for you in shorts. But you see this line right here? That's the planes of expression. And they break down into physical, mental, emotional, intuitive planes. So how you figure that out is you got to count. You count how many numbers you have in your name. So first thing I'm going to look at is ones. My S is a 1, so that's 1. All the S's are 1s, SJ's and S's. AJ's and S's. So A's and S's I have in my name. So I got 1, 2 1s, 3 1s. I've got 3 1s. So by the little 1, I'm going to write the number 3 because I've got 3 1s. So you see down here in the planes of expression, under 1 I put 3 because I've got 3 1s in my name. Now I'm going to look at 2s. How many 2s do I have in my name? 2s are like it's K's and T's, and I forgot what the other one is, but it's it's going to be after, so it's STJK, it's B. It's BTK is the 2s. So if you have any of those in your name, you'll have 2s. If you don't have any, you write a 0. And I'll tell you what all that means later, because there's things you have to add up. Okay? So in 2s, I have a T, so that's a 2 on the bottom. Do I have any vowels that are 2s? No. So I've only got, I got 2, and I got a K in my name. So I got 2 2s in my name. I got a T and a K. So under the 2, I write 2. 3s. How many 3s do I have in my name? My L is a 3. My C is a 3. My U is a 3. And that's it. So I have 3 3s in my name. Okay? Now, I want to look at 4s. I have a D, that's a 4. And I think that is the only 4 I have in my name. Yep, so I have 1 4. How many 5s do I have in my name? So I'm going to look through it, and I know I have some. Because I have an N is 1, E is also a 5, so I have one E. So I have 2 5s in my name. So I'm going to put a 2 under the 5. And then 6s. How many 6s do I have? I think I only have 1 6. And that's my O. Yep, 1 6. Then how many 7s do I have? My Y is a 7, and my P is a 7. So that's 2 7s, correct? Yep. I have 2 7s. And I believe I don't have any 8s. 8's my karma number. So don't believe I have any 8s in my name. No 8. So I have a 0 by the 8. And how many 9s do I have in my name? I got a few of those because I's and R's are 9s. I, R, and I think only I's and R's are 9s. And so I have a 1, 2, 3, 4 9s. Okay, so that's how I get my karmas. I will show you guys as I took how many numbers I had in my name and I wrote that number down on this line with the corresponding numbers. If you want to do this at home, you can just draw a line and write 1 through 9 and then write below them how many you have. That's the way you can do it at home now until you get some of these charts. When you take my class, I mail you charts and stuff. So you'll get a packet in the mail that has a lot of cool stuff. So that is how you do your karmas. If you have a 0, that's a karma. And then there are certain things you're going to add up. Now I don't remember what they all are because it's a formula. So I will pull out my notes for this, and we will go through on to how to find out numerology. I love this class. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, how to work with those. Let me see. I go here. Fundamentals. That's what I got. You get a copy of all this when you do the class. You get a copy of all these little things that help you build the chart. So how do you do your planes of expression? Let me see. It's over here somewhere. There they are. Plane. So for the mental plane, you want to add all the 1s and 8s in your name. So I have 3 1s and no 8s. So my mental plane, I'm a 3. So mental 3. So count how many 1s you have and how many 8s you have, and that total number is your mental number. A new physical. Physicals are 4s and 5s. So you count the number of 4s and 5s. My physical is a 3 as well because I have 1 4 and 2 5s. So that's a 3. Emotional is 3 numbers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's 2s, 3s, and 6s. Your emotional planes is how many 2s, which I have 2 and 3, that's 5. And 6s, I have 1, so I'm a 6 emotional. That's a big number for being emotional. And intuitives are going to be 7s and 9s. So you look at how many 7s you have and how many 9s you have. And I have 2 7s and 4. So I'm pretty balanced. I have 3 physical, 3 mental, and 6 emotional, and 6 intuitive. All right, so what is it? Or 65? Triangle after 555. The triangle, yeah, that's where you're after 55. Yes, after the triangle. I'm sorry, I missed that question when I didn't see it come up. So again, this is just helping you build a chart, because when you get to my numerology class, I want to get more into interpretation, because that's really important. Learning how to feel it and read the chart and start seeing, what does all this stuff mean? What does it all mean? So tonight we're going to learn a few things. We just learned the planes of expression and we learned karmas. So if you look, that's that line. It has numbers 1 through 9, and I had to count how many was in my name and put it down, and then add up those ones that I gave you. I'm going to say it again slowly for those of you who are really trying to write and keep up. I'm going to go through what the numbers mean, and you're going to get a copy of this. So if you don't get it right now, that's fine. Also, when you take my class, I'll give you a copy of what all the letters are and all that stuff. You're going to get a whole bunch of notes coming your way when you take the class to help you build a chart and interpret. So the mental plane are 1s and 8s. So you add all your 1s together and all your 8s together, and that gives you your mental plane. Your physical plane is the numbers of 4s and 5s that are in your name. And the emotional planes are the 2s, 3s, and 6s in your name. And the intuitive planes are the 7s and the 9. And remember, folks, I always tell you that it's easy to remember the intuitive plane because I always say 7 is the first spiritual number and 9 is very karmic. So 7s and 9s are your intuitive plane. Physical 4, remember? And when I taught you all about the number 4, it's about strength, it's about balance, it's about facts, it's about, so think of it like that. So 4s and 5s is about change and about movement of, it can be the movement of things and dealing with change. So your physicals is 4 and 5. Those are ways you can remember those. I have a hard time remembering the emotional because it's 3. It's 2s, 3s, and 6s. And I guess the way to look at that is 2s is pairing, 3s is social, which is those are 2 types of emotional, and 6 is all about, that's that motherly love, that's that intuition, that's that fatherly love. That's so 2, 3s, and 6s. I understand why they picked those for the emotional plane. The mental one is 1s and 8s. 1s are your creatives, the ones that are perfectionists, and 8s are your leaders. So 1s and 8s. It makes sense if you think about it in those terms. Again, when you sign up for my class, you get a whole packet with all this stuff in it, so you won't have to remember it for the class because you're gonna have it. You're gonna have a Bible between the 2 reference books that I told you to go get, and I know some of you have already wrote me that you've gotten them, and I'll show them to anybody that's new. These are like 2 reference books that if you want to do numerology, especially in my class, you need it. And one is by Juno Jordan, and it is The Romance in Your Name, and the other one is The Complete Book of Numerology by David A. Phillips, PhD. These are very old books. You can get them on eBay dirt cheap. You can get them on Amazon. You can even get them on Amazon pretty cheap because they're old. They've been around a while. So you can get those books. But those are reference books. Those actually will show you and tell you meanings of where everything's in the chart. What's confusing in numerology, the most confusing thing that you're going to get in numerology is that different authors call different things in different places different names. Some call that your birth date, when you add up your birth date, it's your life path. Some call it your soul chart. Some people, they got all they got all kinds of names for it. See, the reason with the book is you find out where it's located in the chart and that tells you what it means. So it's really good to have those references. Okay. So the next thing that's pretty easy to teach you is the arrows of individuality, which is that little tic-tac-toe board that's on the chart. And I probably shouldn't have wrote on this because this is something that I use regularly. So I think I'm going to find something else to write this on. But actually, I'm just going to draw a tic-tac-toe board on my other sheet because that also has the explanation. It's my explanation sheet. So I'm going to do a tic-tac-toe board. So draw a tic-tac-toe board. And with the arrows, so the arrows of individuality are you take all the numbers in your birth date and you place them on this tic-tac-toe board. And it goes 1, 2, 3 from the bottom up. No, I'm lying. From the top down. So, no. I gotta look. It's been a while since I've done one. Oh, I can just look at hold on, I can tell you real quick. The first number is a 9. And so, and they have, well, how many 9s? 2. What's the first number is 9. So it's 9, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it goes from top down. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I said that wrong. Let me look at this again. No, 9 is at the top. So it's from bottom up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's from bottom up, I'm sorry. So down here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It shows you that in the book. So I'm going to show it to you on TikTok. I want to make sure I tell it to you right. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So these are your arrows of individuality. So when you draw your tic-tac-toe board, now on TikTok, I will show it to you because I know y'all can't see on this screen, but when you look at it, so my birthday is July, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the bottom right-hand corner, I'm going to put a slash. Not a sub, but a number 1, like a dash, a 1 mark. And then so that is for July. The 25th, I'm going to go to the 2 box, which is in the middle of the first row on the left. I'm going to put a slash there. Then I'm going to do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is in the middle. And then I'm going to do a 1 because I have 1961, so I have a 1. Then I'm going to go up to the top right and do a 9. I'm going to do a 6, which is this top one up here, and another 1 down here. So that is my birthday in tic-tac-toe. I'm going to show you over here. Let me get over here where you can see this. So I have it's backwards so I can look at it. Okay, so my first one is a 7. 7, so that's in the middle. It's 1, 2, 3, 1. No, my first one is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's top middle. See the top middle? That's my first slash because that's a 7. That's a 7. No, in the middle. I'm sorry. That's my 7 because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm lying. Guys, I'm trying to flip it back and forth. That's my 7, this bottom corner, because this is 7, 8, and 9. Let me do this for you to help make it easy for everybody. I'm going to do another tic-tac-toe board. I'm going to write the numbers there. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will make it easy for you. So do 2 tic-tac-toe boards. This is how your tic-tac-toe board should look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then draw 1 on the side of it. This will help make it easier for you. And then you write out your birth date. So, if you have, and you take each number as it is. So if you have a 7, you put a slash in the 7 box. If you have a 2, you put a 2 in a slash in the 2 box. You do each number in your birth date, 1 by 1. You don't add nothing up. So like for 25, I put a slash on the 2 box and a slash in the 5 box. Okay? That's how you do it. And 5 is the middle box. So that's how you work out your arrows of individuality. So once you get your slashes in, when I teach it, it's much easier because I have a board and I'm like working in front of you. And I can do that online as well and have a big board. So if you do that, do your tic-tac-toe board and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 from down to up. Then once you do that, wherever you have 3 marks in a row, like tic-tac-toe with marks, you do an arrow. Wherever you have nothing, that is also an arrow. Because a lot of people have nothing. Like they have nothing that lines up because they might have a bunch of numbers in their birthday that leave empty spaces. And you draw an arrow. So I only have 1 arrow, and that's this way because I only have 1 that's a complete tic-tac-toe. And that would be this over here. You see the arrow? Because I have 3 slashes. I have nothing that's completely empty or nothing that's completely filled in a tic-tac-toe format. That's how you do your arrows of individuality. There are many. There are both positive and negative arrows. Okay, so you have both negative and positive in your arrows. It just depends where your arrow is. And one is the physical plane is the bottom numbers, like the 1, 4, and 7 position, or your physical plane, your 2, 5, it's physical. Your mental plane is the 2, 5, and 8, and the 3, 6, and 9 is your spiritual plane. So it's kind of how we go over a lot of that in class, and we talk about that. So that's when we get into class, where we'll get into what all those different planes are and what they mean, and then why, if there's something absent, why does it have that effect on your body or your mind or your life versus if you have things filled in there. So that's how you do the arrows of individuality. So that is I cannot teach, guys. I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If this is hard for you to keep up, I cannot teach Pentacles online. The Pentacles and challenges we'll have to do in class, because you have to get a really good visual to be able to do Pentacles and challenges. In class, it is the hardest thing for me to teach, because people have a very hard time understanding how to create the numbers for it, because it's the way the numbers line up, and people they get very confused. But I do teach it in the class because I have a big board or I have a big thing, and I can really break it down and show it to you. And even online, it takes me probably the longest thing to teach in numerology is doing the Pentacles and challenges. But we can do. Now, if y'all look at the chart, I want you to write these things down. Write these words down. I'm going to say them very slow. Write down cornerstone. Write down key. Write down birthday. Write down race consciousness, which we won't cover till the end. So race consciousness, y'all got that? And now we're going to go to the next word, is security point. Eccentric angle. Eccentric angle. The next one is reality. And the last one is personal year. So so I got a question coming in. So it says, you said every class is on your YouTube, or certain classes would be able to buy a recording of the class, such as the Pentacles. So what's going to happen is I'm going to teach a class, and then I'm going to record it, and then I will play that online. I'm going to teach it because you can come in live or take the class online. It's up to you. You can come live to my home, and we spend some time together, and it's fun. We have, what we'll do is we'll grab a few movie stars. We'll take a consensus, and we'll have a few movie stars, and we will do their charts, and then we're going to talk about them. And we're going to see what we can figure out about what they did before they were movie stars, and how they're going to end up maybe later in life. So again, we're going to look at some predictions and stuff by using the numerology chart. So we did Justin Bieber, which his was really cool because it really called him out, like his life and what he went through and all the craziness, and then what he's turning into and all those things. And he's still around. I'd like to do Eminem. I've never done Eminem. I really like Eminem. I'd really love to, especially since he had his daughter. I would love to do Eminem's chart. We did do a lot of political people. I'm not naming names, but they were really called out by their charts, all of them. On both sides, we did both sides. We weren't picky. So it's just interesting to see. It was really interesting to see what those are. Also, I'm going to give you. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to go over those words that I just gave you again, and then I'm going to give you meanings to them. Cornerstone, key, birthday, race consciousness, security point, eccentric angle, reality, and personal year. So this is what they mean when you get those numbers, and we're going to go over those, but this is their meanings. So your birth date, now this is not one of those 8, but like I tell you, life path, that's also your birth force. And this is like a little key that I got that has what the meanings of numbers are. So this is what I'm going to go over with you now. And you will get this when you take my class. So birth force, or some books call it the life path. This is who you are at your core. The vowels in your name is your heart. Your heart's desire number is how you feel inside. That's the vowels in your name. How you feel inside. Who would a good mate make for you? Your personality, that's that, your personality is that square box. That's how others see you. And I have here your characters, who you become. I say after 55, but this says after 45. I think 55 is the new 45. That's just me. But it can be 40. You kind of start turning that way at 45. But really, I think people now are kind of gracefully getting older. So I say 55, but it is 45 because that is your 4 cycles. That is your, that is your 5th cycle of life. So you've been through your 4 and you're going into your 5th cycle, which is where you change. Cornerstone. So cornerstone is one of those numbers that you have. So when your cornerstone says about you is how you put your feet into the world. The cornerstone is how you put your feet into the world. The key is how you see yourself. The key is how you see yourself. Your birthday is your character as you see it. That's true for me. Wow, I'm a 7. 7 spiritual. Wow, didn't think of it that way. Your key, your birthday is your character as you see it. Your security point is how you feel about yourself. Your security point is how you feel about yourself. The eccentric angle is the inner self and how much you share. Your reality is your interpretation of yourself after age 45. And your race consciousness is what you seek this year, and that changes. And so we can't do that until we get into the years at the bottom. That's that big long thing of numbers at the bottom and letters and numbers at the bottom that we have to, that I will try to do that online with you before we get into the class, but it's a lot. So that's why I'm taking it slow with you, because this is a lot of information. And I usually teach this in first class, so it's 2, 3, and 4 hours. So it's usually a 9-hour class. It's done over 3 days. I'm trying to cut it down to just 3 hours, or 2 hours and 2 hours, where we do more interpretation, because it takes so long to teach the chart. Even once you get all the material, that it really takes away from the time we get to spend sharing our charts with each other. Hey, Celeste. So, again, that was with the basic meaning. So how do you get those numbers? Or what are those numbers on the side? So let me get my book for that, because there's a lot of formulas in here. So I never remember all the formulas, so I'm going to get the formulas correct for you. So I'm going to cheat and use the book. Well, that's why you have a reference book, so you can use it. Okay. So we did all that already. We did all that. So your cornerstone is the numerical value of the first letter in the name. So my cornerstone is an S because of Sydney. S is my cornerstone. So my number for my cornerstone is 1. Okay? So whatever your first letter in your name is becomes your cornerstone. The key is the sum of all the numbers in the first name reduced to 1 digit. So if you go to your first name and you add the consonants to the vowels. So when I add my consonants, it's 8 and 5 is 13. So 4 would be mine because my vowels were 5, my consonants totaled 8, and my first name, 8 and 5 is 13, 1 plus 3 is 4. So my key is 4. My birthday is next. That one's easy. Just look at your birth date on your life path. Mine's 2-5. It's 7. That's easy. That's 7. Your security point is, remember when we just did those planes of expressions and you got your physical, mental, emotional, intuitive? You add those up and bring it down to 1. I had 2 6s and 2 3s. So I'm a 9 because 6 and 6 is 12, and 6 more, because 3 and 3 is 6, is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. So I have a 9 security point. And I gave you the definitions of what all that meant. Your eccentric angle is you add your key to your birthday. So my key was 4 and 7, so I'm an 11-2 eccentric angle. In personal year, guys, I'm not going to do that for you right now, nor race conscious. That changes. That changes. Depends on when you're getting your chart done. Those things change. So it kind of changes your chart a little bit. So you have to wait till we get you in class to do those. Now, how to get your I missed one of these, I think. Is it the reality that I missed? Yes. So to get your reality, you add your character. Reality is destiny plus character. So that would be, your character is going to be, the character is the sum of all the letters in the full name. So character is the triangle. So you're going to add your triangle to your life path number. Remember I told you they call it different stuff? So I'm a 4 and an 8 is 12. So 3 is my reality. 3 is my reality. And that's how you get some basic numbers. Now guys, this gets when you're doing a chart and you're learning, it gets really, really involved. That's why I tell you what I'm going through you is just giving you how to build a chart. How to build a chart. Once we get into classes, a classroom, then we will talk about interpreting. Interpreting gets deep, and I will give you the numbers, what they each mean again for those of you that are new. I will go through the basic numbers with you again with some basic meanings. We'll get a lot deeper with those meanings as we get into the readings of the chart. Also, when you take the class, I give you this little diagram here, which kind of tells you what each section's called. That comes with it. I also, whenever I do someone's chart for them, I include this sheet so that they can see that when it's referenced in the book that I make, you understand where it came from the chart. So I also add this into every chart that I make. And so that helps people understand, where did these numbers come from. Yes, Eminem is awesome. So I want to do his chart. I'd love to do Eminem's chart just to see his numbers. He's so creative, and he's such a genuine. He's his own guy. He's his own guy. I like Eminem a lot. All right. Anyway, so we've covered the arrows of individuality. We covered how to do the name. We covered how to do the planes of expression by using the numbers in your full name and getting those numbers. We talked about commas. That's when you have a 0. And some people have no commas. Some people have severals. I have 1. Mine's an 8. I have no 8s in my name. Some people have several. It depends on your name at birth. And then we talked about the other numbers. The only thing we have left to do is the big bottom piece, which is a lot. What I'm going to do right now, before I move on to something different, is, does anybody want me to repeat anything that I've talked about today, or anything that they feel they need a little work on? It's going to be in January, Christy, because I'm going to have to wait till after the holidays to have the class, but it's not going to be a 3-day class. I'm trying to get it down to like 1 or 2 days shorter times than long days. So does anybody have any questions about anything that we've covered? You know you can go back and reference everything I've said online. You should now be able to fill out the entire top of a chart. What goes on the bottom is going to be years. And I can't really, it's going to be hard for me to go through that with you because unless you have a chart, I really can't teach you the bottom. So it kind of stops here. I am here to help you if you want to ask any questions about the top of the chart. The bottom is where you write, is where your name falls into play, your years fall into play, your pentacles fall into play, your personal year versus your universal year. I will. Hey, Marie, is it Maria or Maria? It's Marie. Hey, Marie, how you doing? Nice to meet you, sweetheart. You have a lovely daughter. But anyway, let me say this to you. The easiest way to find out your personal year is you add your, let me get this right. You add your birth, you add your month and day of your birth to the current year, and that gives you your personal year. So example, my month and day is July 25th. So I'm currently in a 5-year. How I know that is that's my personal year right now because 7, which is the month, plus 7 is 14. So that's 5. And we're in a 9-year. 2025 is 9. 5 plus 2 plus 2. So 5 plus 9 is 5. Next year I will be in a 6-1 because it moves each time. So right now I'm in a 5-9. So because we're in a 9-year, it's pretty easy because whatever your month and your birth is what you're going to be because you're in a 9-year. You're in a 9-year. So any other number you have is that's the number that's going to be your personal year right now. So your personal year changes. So again, we're in 2025, so that's a 9, and then my month and day is 725. That's 14, which is a 5. So I'm currently in a 5, and I'm only a 5 because that other number is 9. If that number was anything else, it would change that 5. Okay, so I need to clarify that because that can be confusing. What is a good name to name your kid? Well, let me tell you, what's really cool is people born in the beginning of the century, the beginning of the 21st century, they have a lot of issues, and it's because they get a lot of empty spaces because in their charts, because there's a lot of zeros, there's a lot of 2s because there's no 0. So 0 is 0. We don't put a 0 on the chart. So you get a lot of empty spaces. So it really talks a lot about. Yes, Mac? Do you have something you want to say? 4 is the only one blank from me. So that was meaning you don't have a 4. Then that would, is that in which part? You mean in your planes of expression? That means your 4 is your karma. That's what that would mean, Mac, if it's in your planes of expression. If you don't have anything in the 4 spot on the hours of individuality, that just depends if you have, it has to be 3. It has to be tic-tac-toe, either in blanks or marks. And then how many marks you have in each year means in each of those hours of individuality. And the tic-tac-toe board means stuff too. So it really just gets you together. So Amy, what do you want to know? Like, you're giving me your birthday, but what do you want to know about your birthday? You want to know what your life path is? So 4 and 11 is 15. 15 and 23 and is 5. So 4 and 5 is 9. So you're a 2, Amy. You're a 2 in numerology. I just did it. You said April 11th, 1976. I just did that for you. You're going to be a 2. And I can do it a shortcut too. Let me write it out. There's a shortcut. Remember I showed you all the shortcut last week? if you have a 4, okay, so you're 4, 11, 1978, cross out everything that equals 9. 8 and 1, 9, 7 and 11 can be crossed out. Now that says you're 4. Did I do something wrong? Let me see. 4. That's 11, 2. And, oh, you said 76. That's why I did it wrong. That's why it came out. I was 2 up there. I put 78. So no, you're a 2, Amy. What does 2 mean? So 2, hey Daphne, 2 has, so let me go over all the numbers so I'll help you. So 2 is the second one, so just hang tight. So let me go over all the numbers again. 1s are about new beginnings. 1s are about new beginnings. 1s are about 1s are also your creative people. They have good minds usually. It's either one way or the other. It's very positive, very negative. I'm going to always give the positive. 1s are also they're procrastinators because they're perfectionists. 2s are about rhythm and timing. 2s like to stay in the back. They don't like to be the forefront of a project. They prefer to stay in the back, or either they got to control the whole project. That would be the other. But most 2s like to work the back end. They don't like to be put out front. It's about coupling. It's about relationships. It's about the 2 vibe. 3s are your creative vibe. 3s are your social people. 3s are your people who are full of expression. 4s are your serious, very factual, very down to earth, grounded. They want security. They want to know things. Everything has to be proven to them. They don't believe in a lot of things. And I'm a 4, so it was very hard for me in my journey because I had to fight the whole way to open up. 5 is about rhythm and change. It's about change, movement. 5 is, like I said, constant movement, constant change is 5s. 6s is the mother, the mother, the father, the family, the relationships, that love, that deep love. Sometimes can be controlling, so you got to watch that, okay, with 6s. 7s is the first of the spiritual numbers. 7s, your spirit, your religion, your spirituality, you have a mind of your own, you develop your own thoughts. 7s like their alone time. They like to get away from things. They like, if you're in an argument with a 7, let them walk away. They'll come back because they want to go think it out. They need that alone time. They need that time on their own. They're also very deep people. They also can be very depressed people. That's the negative side of 7. 8s, power and money. 8s are usually leaders. Power, money, that's what they do. 9s are your humanitarian. 9s can encompass all the numbers. Drama finds 9s. If you're a 9, you probably have a lot of drama that comes your way. You live in chaos sometimes. So sometimes you have to learn. 9s have to learn to draw boundaries with people. Okay, 11s, the first of the spiritual numbers. 11s are your seers. They know things. They're intuitive. They see things. They kind of just have that gut. They know things. 22s, what they see, they can build. I'm a 22, if I can see it in my head, I can create it. 22-4s are usually 360 thinkers. We think of things all the way around, and we usually go a little cray-cray towards it because our minds are so active that we have so much going on in computing. 33s are the healers. Those are the ones that have that healing touch, that healing voice, that healing. Are very opposite. They can create pain, and that too. So there's positive and negative on both of them. But I like to stick with the positive. Okay. So those are, and then there's 44 8s, which is a very rare number. But if you get that, it's the God complex, and it takes a special set of numbers to get it, and it means you live a chromatic life. You live a chromatic life. The next thing I am going to be teaching you guys is a little bit about palmistry. Not a lot, just a little, just some basic lines and stuff. So I will go over some of that. So just to keep you up to date. Yeah, Stacy, I believe you're a 4. That's how we bump heads so much now. So that is numerology. Daphne, I've taught people how to do their numbers. So basically, you are a 2, Daphne. I can tell you're a 2 just by looking at your name, by looking at your numbers. So to figure out your personal year, I will say it one more time. you add your month and day to the current year. The current year is a 9. So whatever your month and day is, that's what you are. Daphne, poor Daphne, she's in a 11 and 9 is 20. You're in a 2-9 year, Daphne. This is about relationships and building relationships. That's how this year's been about. You gaining some, losing some, regrouping friends, regrouping family, regrouping. That's what this whole year's been about for you. Okay? So yes, I'm going to go over some basic palmistry too. So, what am I? What do you want to know? What you mean? What part do you want? I'm not going to give you the whole thing. What do you want to know, Celeste? Celeste goes, what am I? Daphne came in late. Right, what is your birth date, Celeste? Put your birth date out, and I'll tell you what your personal year is. And let me look at Amy, your personal year. You're in a 3-9 right now. This is a social year for you. So let's write out your birth date, darling, if you want me to tell you what your personal year is. And anyway, so these are just some basics. So November 9th, so you're on 11-9. Well, you're in the same as, you're kind of like Daphne. You're on 11-9, so you're 2. So you're in a 2-9 year. So you're in a 2 year right now. Your personal year right now is 2. This is about relationships, getting rid of people, bringing new people in, regrouping yourself around others. That's what this is for you. Next year, you'll be in a 3-1. It's going to be very creative. It's going to be a new year for you to start new projects because you're going to be in that 1-3 vibe. So, or start new things. So, it's creating it. So, anyway, that's just basic. Your chart tells you so much more. But again, I cannot get into the bottom piece because unless you have a chart to write it in, you'll never keep up because you got to do your name. You got to do your name all the way out, then add numbers all the way down, and it's I can't teach you that without you being in a class setting. Stephanie, you think you're a 2 personal year or a 2 complete? Let me see, Stephanie. So you're 1 plus 3. Hold on. Y'all keep hitting me too hard. So you're 10, 12, 1978, just not 78. So you're 1, 3, and then 10, 25 is a 7. You're an 11-2. Stephanie, you're an 11-2, which means not only you're the 2 vibe, but you also have the gift of sight, the gift of knowing pretty easily. You have that gift as well, Stephanie, because you are an 11-2. By the way, your numbers play out. And Celeste, you're November 9th, 1971. So that's an 11-2. That's 9. It's 10. And 8 is 18. That's a 9. So yeah, you're a 2. But you're not an 11-2. You're just a plain 2. You're not an 11-2, Celeste, because 11 was your first number, knocked you out of that. Okay, and let's see, Marie, you're May 26. You're new, so I will do your full thing for you. So you're 5 plus 8 plus 10 and 6 is 16. That's a 7. So you are also a 2 because you're a 20, so that's 2. You're a 2 life path. Your current year. This has been a very hard year for you, Marie. You're in a 4-9. Which means I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't have some passings around you this year because 4-9s usually get a lot of passings around them in that 4th year. So you probably had a couple people pass this year that meant something because you're in your 8 and 5 is 13, which is 4, and we're all in a 9. So this was a very hard year. This is a year of truth, fact, facing things. You might have had a few people pass. So your life path, Tina. So basically, 3, 1, 4. You're in a 4-9 year too. This has been a very hard year for you too, Tina. As far as your personal year goes, you're in a 4-9, which again is a lot of passing, a lot of pain, a lot of truth, a lot of things you had to figure out. 10, 17, it's 8. So that's not. You're a 3, Tina. You're a 3 in numerology. creative mind, creative, or social, or both. Okay. So yes, you were 3, Tina. So that is a little bit of just some basic numerology. There's a lot of shortcuts but I can't teach you these things online. When we do the class, I will show you some shortcuts in figuring things out. But what I want to talk about, there is a topic before I go, because I got a few minutes before I have to leave, because I have to go back to work tonight, and I have to be back to work in less than an hour. So really quick before we go and head out, I want to talk to you about a concept called plasma. And plasma is not just a piece of your blood, but we've also learned, and through studying quantum physics, we learned that plasma is also in the air. Now, and I always knew this, but I'd never actually seen how it worked. And then going to seance and going to doing those things helped me kind of understand why. Like people who go to seance are seeing pictures of ectoplasm, which is a form of kind of like plasma, how it, when it comes out, how it flows and how it forms. And it does that because it mixes, it's created in the plasma and it's in the air. So plasma that's how energy moves through air. That's how we move from one point to another. And when you start getting into a little bit of quantum physics and you start getting into a little bit of energetics, this is my next class in energetics is going to be a lot about, is the mind and how it works, and why you should be speaking positive and staying away from negative, because how it affects you and everybody around you. It even affects your own blood cells. It affects your own fluid balance. It affects a lot of things. So we're going to I get a lot into that in my energetics course. I'm going to have another energetics level 1 and 2 where I will teach it one more time, because I'm going to be recording it and putting it online for people to take online. My level 3 is going to be much more advanced. It's all about the brain and how the brain and the heart create the energy to blend into the plasma, the energy around us, is where I get into that course about. And then we're going to go into the retreats on how to change your life using energetics. That's going to be where I'm heading for the end of 2026, the beginning of 2027. And that is how to, through energetics, change your whole life. And we'll be having weekend workshops. We'll be having weekend workshops when that happens, and you'll be able to come and spend a weekend in a hotel with us in a conference area, and we will be doing Change Your Life conferences using energetics. And so, but first I got to get the classes out there. But those who have taken the classes will be invited to. We're going to go to find a decent hotel and go spend some time together and learn that. Yes, I still teach mediumship training. I do it either one-on-one or in a group. I have a group that's all. I'm going to be posting all my dates for classes for next year soon. It'll be in before the end of this month, and I'm definitely going to be teaching my advanced tarot, my more advanced mediumship, and I will be teaching. And it will be for beginners. You can be any level going in. But it's gonna be completely different. My energetics class will be on YouTube. Yes, it will be on YouTube. Well, not on YouTube. Well, I teach some of it on YouTube, but the class itself, you'll be able to purchase it on my website, or the full class you'll be able to purchase on my website, or through one of the class sites like Udemy or one of those. You'll be able to purchase it through there or through me. Am I pulling cards this week? No, because I got to go to work. So I don't have time to pull cards. I actually have to go back to work tonight for about an hour and a half. So then I got to come back home and get back to work again for 6 something in the morning. So it's a rough one. But I wanted to, so does anybody have any questions about numerology? Oh, I do want to share this with you about energetics. So one of the things we've been learning plasma, and then when you start to understand how energetics works, this is like a little saying. It says, humans drive to be special, but that's what blocks them from the truth about the universe, such as understanding the true concepts of plasma. And so that's something we're going to teach in class. So remember that humans, we always drive to be an individual and be special, and that's a left brain function. When we start talking about left and right brain, that's when we get into the energetics in the last class. We're going to get a lot into how the brain works. How does it correlate with the heart? How does it produce that energy that goes way out from your body? How does that happen? and how does it affect you, and why is it that you hold on to negative things rather than being able to live in the present and letting those things go. Okay, so that's what the workshops are going to be. Once I finish once people take the third class, then we will be having workshops where we come and we work with each other to help them get through and start using their energetics more to help benefit their lives, to help them become more successful, to help them, find their dreams and find their goals, and start learning that life is a path and that everything that happens to you happens for a reason. It's what you build on it. And either you learn from bad things or you fail and you go back. So we're going to teach you how to move forward in your life, how to take advantage when things go on. So yes, I heard this and I thought it was really good. Humans drive to be special, but it's what blocks them from the truth about the universe, such as understanding the true concepts of plasma. So I want y'all to remember that for my ending words tonight, because that is something you really need to think about. What are the blocks in your life? Why can't you be the person you want to be? And know that, and I'm a nurse, and I can tell you that most health issues come from some kind of block you've had in your life or emotional challenge that you've had. Know that I said that. Yeah, there are little things that can happen. The big serious ones usually happen. If it's not environmental, it's something that happened, usually emotionally. And so we'll have some, and when we're in class, we have some talks about that. I will not put that online because I don't want, I will not put that online because I am a nurse and I have a license to protect. But we will talk about a lot of those things in class, a lot of those concepts. And again, these are just concepts for you to look at, to research, to understand, so that you can help your health and your well-being. Never let anyone destroy your peace. I don't care, not family, not friends, not anybody. No one should ever destroy your peace. You should always have a peaceful mind and love and learn and live in life the right way. So Magni's going with me. He's gonna, because I gotta bring stuff into work, so he's gonna come with me to help me. So I'll be fine at work. All right, folks, thank you so much for the time we spent tonight. Again, TikTok, I'm going to be signing off. So it's been really cool talking to you guys tonight. Thank you for joining me there on TikTok. And for you guys, you get the intro. Thank you for joining me on Touch an Eternity podcast. I'm your host, Sid Patrick. I will see you next Wednesday at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time.